Hello and welcome to our hangar in the heart of the historic MV Agusta factory in Varese. 2021 will be a year packed with exciting innovation, virtual events, safety upgrade, and new releases. We are going to start right away with the unveiling of the first completely renewed model in our three-cylinder, Brutale and Dragster range. From now until June, we will be giving you every month some thrilling preview of the new Turismo Veloce, Super Veloce, and the Brutale 1000 RR. Now, before I hand over to our R&D Director, Engineer Brian Giller, for some precious insight and all the detail about the innovations we introduced into these new models. Let's take a closer look at the new Brutale. Enjoy the video.
Thank you, Filippo. It's a very exciting time in MV Agusta. We're in a new era, in an era where we're investing heavily in our engineering infrastructure, our test cells, our advanced virtual engineering software programs, and above all, in our designers, technicians, and engineers. This new era has allowed us to approach the model year 21 Brutale RR with a new mentality, with a new approach, with a focus on the most refined and technologically advanced Brutale RR ever. Let's go into the details of what makes up this Brutale RR. Starting off with the chassis. The chassis is a core focus of MV Agusta. We've been renowned for our notoriously famous good handling. For 2021, the Brutale RR has new reinforced chassis side plates that increase not only the torsional, but also the longitudinal stiffness of the bike, allowing the bike to be even more precise, to get exactly the front tire to where you want it to be at the apex on the road or on the track. With a primary focus of developing the most intuitive and comfortable, but above all, emotional MV Agusta Brutale RR ever, we spent countless hours designing, developing, and testing on the road and at the racetrack the new suspension settings and new progressive rear linkage system. Coupled together with the new suspension settings, both with the rear shock and the front fork, we also have a new seat. The new seat is designed with advanced memory foam that allows us to filter out all of the high frequency energy being transferred from the tires to the suspension and directly to the rider in order to enhance and make the riding more comfortable, to allow you to enjoy the emotional experience of the MV Agusta for a longer period of time. At the same time, we also have an adjustable steering damper. The adjustable steering damper is very easy to access and adjust while you're riding the bike to increase or decrease the input, the damping system on the steering. What do all of these components offer together? They offer you a number of different advantages. The advantages of all of these technical improvements are enhanced comfort, improved stability, the agility with this stiffened frame for torsional rigidity, and above all, safety, to be faster and safer. Moving on to the engine. We have addressed a number of different aspects inside of the engine on the model year 21 Brutale RR. The engine of the Brutale maintains the technological counter-rotating crankshaft that is unique in the middleweight category to MV Agusta, something that we introduced with the launch of the MV Agusta 3-cylinder engine. Inside of the engine, we have new sintered valve guides with DLC-coated valve tappets. The DLC coating inside of these tappets allows us to reduce by 28% the sliding friction between the cam and the valve tappets. The focus of all of our attention inside of this engine was to, number one, maintain our performance, and number two, reduce friction. Reduce friction in order to allow us also to meet the new ever stringent Euro 5 homologation requirements. How did we do this? We addressed this with the new crankshaft main bearings, connecting rod main bearings, and oiling system. The bearings that we have are very advanced bearings, and they're done with a microbore technology that allow us to reduce by 8% the amount of oil flow going to the main bearings, going to the crank bearings. The reduction in the oil flow allows us to, number one, reduce the energy absorption of the oil pump, and number two, reduce the oil temperature. By reducing the oil temperature, we improve the reliability and durability of our engines. Together with the friction reduction activities, we also have a completely new designed exhaust system. The exhaust system starts out at the exhaust collector, goes into the catalytic converter area with a new advanced catalytic converter, and to the new silencer. This was done with a focus on improving the spread of torque, and we'll see in a moment the torque curve and the power curve to maintain 140 horsepower at the crankshaft, and above all, smoothen out the torque curve to make the bike as full, as powerful as possible, and as easy and intuitive to control, connecting your wrist directly to the rear tire. The new design exhaust system, while improving the power, also lets us meet the new stringent exhaust noise requirements. Now, one very important technology that we have in MV Agusta is our SCS advanced clutch technology. Our 2.0 SCS system is a system that combines a mechanical automatic clutch with advanced engine control algorithms in our drive-by-wire throttle control system. What we can do with our SCS system is offer to the rider the possibility to completely forget about the clutch lever. In any position, whether you're riding in the city, street light to street light, whether you're in the mountains, going through very tight switchbacks, you can completely forget about the clutch lever and start and stop only by opening and closing the throttle. This allows you to have more concentration, more focus on what's going around you, riding the bike, rather than trying to match RPMs to throttle position, to clutch position, to selected gear. So the focus of SCS is, number one, to make it easier and more intuitive to ride, and number two, with a performance enhancement. Everything we do in MV Agusta always has a performance enhancement. And what that means is when you're stopped at a street light without touching the clutch, you're holding the brake, you select first gear, when that light turns green, you open the throttle as fast as you want, and we're controlling the clutch engagement. The engine control algorithms are controlling the torque going through the clutch to the rear wheel, maximizing acceleration in a safe and a controlled environment. Now, we'll talk a little bit in our next segment with electronics, a second step with our launch control. So what are the advantages to all of our engine development? Our advantages are smoother power, a smoother torque curve, class-leading reliability, and full compliance with Euro 5 regulations in terms of noise and exhaust gas emissions. Let's take a look at the torque curve and the power curve just to help make it clear where we're going with this. As you can see here, the white line is our torque curve. We have a torque curve that takes off from 3,000 RPM and is growing steadily without any dips, without any valleys, all the way up to over 10,000 RPM. We have a peak power of 140 horsepower, and we're up above 135 horsepower from 9,000 RPM all the way to 10,500 RPM. So we have a very broad spread of torque and a very smooth spread of power. Moving on to the electronics. Electronics have been a core focus of our development path with the Brutale RR. We have a completely updated architecture, electronic architecture on this bike, starting out with our ABS system. For 2021, we've introduced a Continental cornering ABS system that now allows you two major functions. Number one, the possibility to trail brake as hard as you can all the way to the apex of a corner with the absolute security that we have an electronic system safety net that's controlling everything that could go on with the contact patch between your front tire and the road. At the same time, one of the most important factors with the braking system is lower speed, below 30, 40 kilometers an hour when you have an emergency brake situation. It's happened many times that when you're in a city, in a small town, you have something that comes out in front of the bike. It could be a car, it could be a child, a person, where they come out in front of the bike and you do an emergency brake. With the incredibly powerful Brembo brakes, with the Pirelli Diablo Rosso tires that have a tremendous amount of mechanical grip, it's very easy to get a load transfer to the front tire, actually pitching the bike over the front tire, rolling the bike as the front brake locks. Now, with our technical partner Continental, we have worked very hard developing an algorithm that allows us to control the rear wheel lift in an emergency brake situation. What does that mean? When you go into an emergency brake and grab the front brake lever as hard as you can to try to avoid an emergency situation, we allow the back tire to slightly come off the ground in order to get maximum weight transfer to the front tire, maximum grip from the front tire to the ground, and then just as the tire comes off the ground, we bring it back. And we bring it back and keep the back tire on the ground. The ABS is reducing the braking distance, and with the back tire down onto the ground, it allows the rider to then steer, to navigate, to try to avoid the object that is causing him to or her to do the emergency brake. So this is a very important technology. It's something that we worked very hard on that gives you additional control, not only to bring the bike back to the ground, but to keep it on the ground and allow you to brake and steer under an emergency situation. Now, the electronic system on the Brutale RR for 21 has a heart. And the heart of this system is our new inertial platform, a 6-axis IMU that controls the entire electronic vehicle control system. Our 6-axis EMU is tied into the ABS system as well as into our traction control, which we like to think of more as a slip control rather than a traction control, and our front lift control. Why is front lift control different from wheelie control? With front lift control in MV Agusta, we're not focused on trying to bring the front end of the bike back down to the ground continually as you're accelerating. Our focus is different. Our focus is on having an intuitive ride, on having the most transparent electronic package on the bike, on having a bike that maximizes acceleration. Under a full acceleration situation where the front tire starts to pull off the ground and you have a pitching towards the rear wheel, we are looking at the pitch rate, how fast the front tire is coming up, the maximum pitch angle, which we determine in function of the acceleration of the bike. We're trying to maximize the acceleration, and maximizing the acceleration means controlling the wheelie, controlling the pitch at a level that makes the rider feel safe. If you have the front tire that's coming up very quickly under acceleration, the tendency is to close the gas. So we're controlling that pitch rate to allow the rider to feel like he is in control, she is in control of the acceleration, maximizing that acceleration by maintaining that pitch rate as the rider accelerates, giving the maximum performance. Now, when you get into the corner, you have the cornering ABS that allows you to dive as deep into the corner as you can to hit the apex. You get to the apex and you get back to the gas. When you get back to the gas with the MV Agusta traction control system, we're not controlling traction per se, we're controlling slip. And you have 8 levels of slip control as well as off. Slip control means we're allowing the back tire to actually start to slip, to break loose slightly, to maximize the drive and the contact to the ground, to get the bike to accelerate out of the corner. With a higher slip, you can actually use the back tire to steer the bike in corner exits while you're fully on the gas as you're controlling the bike. If you want to feel a little bit more safe, you want to have a bigger safety net behind you, you use a slip rate which is lower, keeping the relative velocity between the back tire and the front tire closer together to keeping the bike in line. Now, this slip control is a function not only of torque, but also a function of lean angle. And we're using the 6-axis lean angle sensor in order to change the amount of torque that we're driving to the back tire in function of vehicle lean. So if you have a riding style, classic, you go into the corner and you bring the bike out very smoothly, you'll have a very smooth build of power as you bring the bike back up to a vertical axis. If you have a MotoGP style of riding, where you're hanging off the bike at the center of the corner, you pick the bike up as fast as you can, you're going to maximize drive coming out of the corner. As we read the increase in the vertical position of the bike, we drive more torque back to the back tire because we have a bigger contact patch, maximizing acceleration out of the corners. Also, we have something very important, which is the MV Agusta launch control. On the right handlebar, there's a button called launch. When you're stopped and you press launch, you have through the TFT, 5.5-inch TFT display, the instructions that tell you what to do. It tells you to pull in the clutch lever, engage first gear, hold the throttle wide open, and then feed out the clutch. As you feed out the clutch, we're controlling the RPM limit. We're limiting it to 6,800 RPM as you're stopped with the throttle wide open. And then as the bike starts to launch, we're controlling the torque to the back tire, the front lift control, and the engine RPM all at the same time to give you MotoGP starts in a incredibly advanced, incredibly refined, incredibly smooth electronics package. Now, one of the primary technologies that MV Agusta has pioneered and brought to the naked middleweight category is our EAS system, electronically controlled shift system. For 2021, we have 2 main components of our EAS. A brand new EAS sensor working in up and down, as well as a new algorithm backing up the function or integration of that sensor with our engine-controlled algorithms. And that allows us to give us the shortest amount of shift times while safely controlling the reliability of the transmission and the torque going through the gears. So to upshift, you simply have to have the throttle open and you can upshift through the gears, first to sixth. To downshift, you have to have the gas closed, and you can go down through the gearbox as fast as your heart or your ankle allows you to do, to downshift through the gears, to come to a stop. When you get to a stop, you don't have to grab the clutch because you have the MV Agusta 2.0 SCS system that makes the automatic clutch. All of these different electronic components are being driven through our new ECU. The ECU we developed together with our technical partner Eldor, which is very close to us here in Scarana in northern Italy. These algorithms are using drive-by-wire control strategies where we're controlling all of the different sensors coming into the bike: front wheel, rear wheel speed, air temperature, water temperature, engine RPM. We're looking at the lambda sensor. We're looking at the pitch, the roll, and the inclination of the bike to make sure that we're optimizing in all of these different conditions the torque that's being generated by the engine to the rear wheel with one single goal in mind: to make the clearest, smoothest communication between the throttle and the back tire. Now, what are all of the advantages of this new electronics platform? A better feeling ride. The advanced electronics make riding easier. It makes it easier to go faster. It makes it easier to ride in any situation, any condition, any road condition. And it's more intuitive and, above all, safer. With our electronic system in MV Agusta, we have one of the most advanced apps ever to make it into the motorcycle world, the MV Agusta Ride app. Our MV app works together with our unique 5.5-inch TFT display with integrated Bluetooth connection, with our integrated GPS module that's located on the motorcycle. These components working together are in direct contact with the MV Ride app. The MV Ride app has two major functions. Number one, to allow you as the user to communicate, to connect, to tune and modify your MV Agusta Brutale RR to make it yours, exactly how you want. Set up your traction control exactly how you want. Set up your mapping with the preset maps, whether it's sport or rain or even the custom map. Our custom map allows you to change a number of engine parameters to tune the bike to your particular riding style. And you can do this all inside of your smartphone directly to the motorcycle, save that into your bike while you're at the bar, while you're having a coffee, and when you come out, your bike is ready to go. Now, beyond that, the second part of the MV Ride app is to create the MV Agusta ecosystem, our user ecosystem. And what we're trying to do is bring together a system where, before you get on the bike, you can preset your destination inside of the navigation feature of the app. And then you have corner by corner mirroring in the dashboard that tells you exactly where to go to get to your destination. And when you get to your destination, you have all of the data from your ride. We are doing a data acquisition of your ride inside of the module on the bike together with your smartphone. When you get to your destination, you can share with your friends, you can share with your riding partners, you can share with other people inside your MV Agusta ecosystem all of your data, what road you were on, what settings you used while you were doing that road or while you were at that track, what your lap times were, what your throttle position was in a particular corner, how far you were leaned over on the bike. These are all data that are in your hands, allowing you to share and enhance your riding experience on the bike and when you're off the bike. All of these features together with a number of other items, including the full LED front headlight with the cornering, allowing you to even see deeper into the corners when you're leaned over. The entire electronics platform is made to bring you closer to your bike, to make your bike more intuitive, and to bring the MV Agusta ecosystem closer together. This and many, many more features that we can discuss with the Brutale RR. So this was touching on the bike. The features are many. I'm glad to have had an opportunity to touch on a number of the different activities and development and technologies that we've put into the Brutale RR. And I hand it back to you now, Filippo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brian. Absolutely amazing. Now, let's have a look at the new Dragster. Enjoy the video.
Thank you, Filippo. From the moment the Dragster RR was introduced, it became an instant icon, a motorcycle that combined unique, trend-setting, iconic design elements with sport bike performance. The 2021 model year Dragster RR is a continuation of this tradition. From a styling standpoint, the unique elements that have become defining elements of the Dragster RR continue. The incredibly short tail section with full LED rear tail light, the unique passenger pegs that disappear directly into the profile of the motorcycle, the handlebars with the bar end mirrors that fold into the bike, the handlebars that are completely adjustable and can be tuned to set the bike ergonomics directly to the preferred position of the rider, the incredibly short front fender with unique supports that meld directly into the bike and give it the powerful, incredibly strong stance. And when we talk about Dragster, we have to talk about the spoked wheels. The unique single-sided 6-inch spoked wheel on the rear and the spoked wheel on the front. Now, for 2021, the Dragster RR has been completely refined while at the same time going through a technological revolution. From a chassis side, the Dragster RR has unique features. Number one is the new rear tire, which is a Pirelli Diablo Rosso 3 200/55 section tire. This tire has a rounder profile than the previous version of the Dragster RR, making the bike even more nimble, even more smooth transitioning into the corners to allow you to get the bike all the way down to the apex. Coupled together with the reinforced side plates of the frame and the revised suspension with the updated progressive linkage system, new rear shock valving, and the front fork valving that is combined to give the bike a more balanced and smoother setting, combines all together to give the bike the most nimble handling of any Dragster ever before. Now, from an engine side, the MV Agusta Dragster RR clearly has the counter-rotating crankshaft, an iconic feature that has become a defining feature for the MV Agusta 3-cylinder engines. This counter-rotating crankshaft now runs on new low-friction bearings on the crankshaft as well as the connecting rod. These low-friction bearings have microbore technology, reducing the amount of oil required to lubricate, reducing the oil film thickness, and at the same time with a lower requirement of oil flow, which means a lower requirement of the oil pump absorbing energy from the power transfer system. Now, at the top end of the engine, we have the DLC, diamond-like carbon coated valve followers, and these interact with the camshafts, reducing the friction between the camshafts and the cam followers. This has been done all with the focus of, number one, reducing internal friction to maintain the 140 horsepower, while at the same time meeting the new and restrictive Euro 5 homologation requirements in terms of noise as well as exhaust emissions. From the electronics standpoint, the electronics platform on the Dragster RR has been completely revolutionized, integrating the new 6-axis IMU sensor together with the GPS module, with the 5.5-inch TFT dashboard, with integrated Bluetooth module, all working together with the EAS, electronic assisted shift system, to allow you clutchless upshifts and downshifts, focusing on performance. The Dragster RR has one goal: to go as fast as possible and to look as good as possible doing it. We have integrated the SCS 2.0 system into the Dragster RR, allowing you the opportunity to not only use the electronic shift to go up and down in the transmission, but at the same time, you don't need to require to use the clutch lever when you come to a stop. When you come to the stoplight, simply let off on the gas, downshift, come to a stop without ever touching the clutch lever, and when you're ready to start again, simply twist the gas and take off faster than any other bike or any other car on the market. It's incredible how it launches you from stoplight to stoplight. Now, inside of this 6-axis EMU sensor, we're also using the information to drive the core of our safety features, the Continental Cornering ABS system. As we mentioned before, this system has been designed developed and tuned specifically for the Dragster RR with the different section tires compared to the Brutale RR to allow you to brake harder and deeper into any corner in full safety, having a huge safety net wrapped around you to allow you to enjoy the riding experience and the emotion of the Dragster RR. Now, we can't talk about electronics without talking about one of the most important parts of the Dragster RR, and that's our connectivity platform. The MV Ride connectivity platform allows you to integrate into your personal device, your cell phone, directly the connection between you and your motorcycle, allowing you at any time to customize your custom map, your bike settings, send those settings directly to your bike at the next key on, allowing you to upload directly into your bike any of the custom maps, share with other people inside the MV Agusta MV Ride app ecosystem your personal settings, suggest to them on a specific track, a specific road, what you think is the best setting for your bike in those conditions, allowing you to tune your front lift control, your traction control, and all of the electronic features of the bike, all remotely in the palm of your hand. At the same time, you have the MV Agusta navigation system built into the app that allows you through the app to choose your itinerary, choose your destination, and see on the dashboard directly, corner by corner, the directions, left, right, forward, where to go around the roundabout to get you to your destination. And when you get to your destination, you can have your entire ride downloaded inside of your smart device, throttle position, lean angle, engine RPM, gear selection. You can relive the emotion of that ride inside of your smartphone and share that information with all of the other users inside of the MV Agusta MV Ride ecosystem. It's a revolutionary bike with revolutionary technology in a very evolutionary phase to maintain the MV Agusta lines, the iconic shape of the bike, the iconic details, and performance. We're very proud of what we've been able to do for model year 2021 with the Brutale RR and the Dragster RR to continue the evolution of these two very iconic motorcycles, at the same time revolutionize the technology inside of these bikes. Thank you, and back to you, Filippo.
That was great. Brian, once again, many thanks for your valued technical inputs. And thank you all for watching. Don't miss out on MV Agusta latest 2021 news. Visit our website and follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Join us in March to learn everything about the new Turismo Veloce and the Super Veloce. Stay tuned and happy rides!